so glad.
And then you got a lot of folks that are showing you, oh, it's great for this and great for this, but there's not any like, okay, how do I do it? You know, like, where do you start?
I totally get it.
And I'm frustrated because like you'll get one block built, but if you don't strategically place that other block or that other puzzle piece the right way, the whole thing doesn't work. And so I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm tired of bashing my head against the wall. I need somebody to show me. Just, you know, I think it was like your gal said the other day, you know, I'm not a stupid person. I'm educated and I will not be defeated by Kajabi.
Nope, totally get it. And that's why it's always so, so important that we start at the same place every single time, North Pole to New York City. I swear it fits everything. Like anytime you get stumped on a question or you're trying to figure out what should I do, you always bring it back to looking at North Pole to New York City, which is where we're going to start because that is really all that matters. So you've got your North Pole, which is your reed magnets. Then that always goes to your lead magnet, which is where your opt-in is. In this situation, this is going to be the challenge. So they're going to be opting in. The challenge is the front door to the business. And keep in mind, when you think about your house, you have one front door. When new people are coming into your business, you have to keep it focused on one front door. Otherwise, you fragment and you spread yourself too thin, trying to manage all these different places where they can come in. Once they come in, then we can let them wander around, but we cannot let them wander around until they make it to the front door. And after they've opted in, then you have your intro offer, which is, some people will call it the tripwire. I call it a lily pad, where they're coming in and it's a, you know, typically probably 8 times out of 10, lower price point, lower time commitment, a way to become a buyer since they were just a subscriber at the opt-in, but, you know, not make it so big that they never convert. So most of the time it is a lower ticket item than your New York City offer, which is typically where people want them to end up landing. Like after they've done the intro offer, then you would then market the New York City offer to those people. So you're moving them along throughout the challenge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That part? Okay, perfect. So, and you guys are opening the cart. So do you have an intro offer that you're going to be giving them?
Yeah, so we're basically giving them 5 days of free content. But if they want to know how to apply it, then they need to purchase the online course.
Okay.
So that will be at the very 5-day, the last day will be basically that offer into the course material, and she will do a call to action that day.
Perfect.
And then we were going to leave the cart open because it's going to be a special price since they did the 5-day challenge for 7 days and then close it.
Okay. So 7 days open. Okay. So what you want to do when you're thinking about using Kajabi, and honestly, Kajabi does so well at this. I'm with you. I've been there almost 5 years now, but I also had trust issues. You were like, okay, you tell me this is going to be easy, and it is not easy. And there's 87 steps that you didn't tell me about. And there's 45 other tools I need to purchase that you didn't tell me about. Oh, and then it's easy. And I'll have this amazing launch overnight success. Kajabi will work. Our part is really mapping out exactly what we want it to do and then putting the pieces in place in the right order. And then it works completely well. I have not had Kajabi break on myself or anybody else in the entire time that I've used it. So I will tell you, as someone with former trust issues, there is nowhere else I would ever run my business, ever. No way, Jose, never going to happen. So you've got your North Pole to New York City. You guys know what you want to run as your lead magnet. You know what you're offering as your course, you know how many days it's open. Now, in Kajabi, so we'll put Kajabi down here. Oh, switch over to my pen. There we go. Kajabi. What your, you know what, let's move this down just a bit. Let's do your timeline first. So when is the cart going to close? Do you guys have a date for that yet?
Yes. So let me pull up my calendar. We are launching April 13th, and the cart will close on the 20th. Let's see. Cart would close. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like the 24th.
Okay. So what you want to make sure you do is you create your timeline. So you're going to be open for 7 days. So we'll put that here. We'll put open. And when is it opening?
The launch of the 5-day challenge begins on the 13th. The cart will be open on the 17th.
Got it. Okay. So challenge. Always want to write this stuff out because one, you want to be able to rinse and repeat it. You want to be able to say, okay, you know what? That worked really well. Nope, not Coach Jenny. That worked really well. Or what pieces do we need to change? Because again, one front door to your business, you want to honestly run something no less than 20 times before you say, it's crap and I'm like chucking it to the side. You run something 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 times, you still don't have really great data on how it's working. So you want to just always start with your timeline so that you can add to it. You can put your notes in. You can then look at the specifics in terms of open long enough, open too long, where did we put things, what did we learn? And especially when it comes to using the automations inside Kajabi. So if we know that the day of the challenge opening, the day of the cart opening, so this is your cart, and then this is your close cart over here, what I recommend is, and you can do this a few different ways. One thing that I always will tell people when you're first starting, resist the urge to automate everything. Can Kajabi automate everything? Absolutely. But you give up control. And when it's something you're doing for the first few times,
right,
spending all the time working out the automations, only to get in the middle of it and realize, oh my gosh, we didn't think about this. Crap, we don't want that email to send. Oh my goodness, pull this back, send this out. Nya. So what I'm going to show you first is we're going to use events, but you're not going to put everything into the event that you normally would if this was, say, your 10th time running this. Okay. So you're going to, on the cart close. So this is going to be our Kajabi. We're going to put our timeline on the top, and I'm going to do Kajabi on this next line. So on this cart close, this is what I would make as the event deadline. The reason being, in using events on Kajabi, you have the ability to send those emails at the hour, minute, day, and week feature. So if your deadline is the 24th, and let's say it's at noon, whatever time the cart is going to close, at the event deadline, using events, then you can send those very timely and close emails of the cart is closing in an hour, the cart is closing in 30 minutes. Those emails, you need to use events in order for those to send in Kajabi. And those I call them the last minute, the last minute stuff, events works really, really well for this. You can also use event emails for like big announcements. So let's say the cart is opening. I would use events for this. I would have an email that goes out saying, yep, the cart is open, because I know it's opening on this date. But in this in-between phase, during the first few times you run this, so between the cart open and the last minute emails going out, I wouldn't put those into events. I would put those using an email broadcast so that you remain in control, so that it isn't, I spent all this time automating it, but something came up at the last minute and you're trying to fight against the automations. And it happens all the time because we're trying to be crazy efficient. We're trying to make it, this slick and do everything, the way we're supposed to. But we want to balance it. So let's put our black in here. Down here, we're going to use broadcasts. So I use the little envelope and then I use EB for email broadcasts. So I'm going to use the email broadcasts, and my filter that I'm going to use is any submitted the form for the opt-in, like for the challenge. So I don't have to tag people. Kajabi uses the filters. It's no big deal. We'll pop over and I'll show you all this stuff inside Kajabi too. But this email broadcast filter, anybody who submitted this form, so they opted into the challenge, you use broadcasts to communicate with them. So you can write it. You can even schedule them out if you want to. But from countless launches, observing and participating, last minute happens. It always does. There's some fluke. There's something you didn't think of. You had this last minute great idea. Broadcasts save you the stress. And because you keep a record of your broadcasts, when you come back to run this the second time, then guess what? Then we can put them in as part of the event, because we're like, hey, we know this email goes out 5 days before. We know this one goes out 3 days before. We know all the links are right because we've run this once before. So you're keeping control over the stuff you're not yet sure of, and you're blending it with using an event so that you can get those last minute emails to go out that are hourly timed and minute timed, really. Those are the two that people tend to want to be able to send. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Questions?
Just gonna go into my Kajabi.
Okay. And I will pop over into my site. David, do you or Tanya have any questions?
Not right now. This is helpful because I'm actually doing a 5-day challenge as well.
Oh, perfect.
So I use the event feature, but I didn't set it to when my cart was closing. I set it to the day of my webinar.
Okay.
My subsequent emails are basically like X number of days after the event, X number of hours after the event. Mm-hmm. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yes. You can use it for any of those pieces. It's just that when you write down your timeline, as long as you know my event is the day of the webinar, the day of the cart open, or the day of the cart close, mm-hmm. As long as you keep it consistent, then it's just a matter of using the before and after options, and it works just fine. I have found that most people, they intuitively can see the event as cart close, like I want this to go, everything's when this ends, or when the cart is open. But as long as you keep it consistent, it's not a big deal one way or the other.
So I was thinking, would it not benefit to use one of the pipelines that they've created?
No.
Okay, because that was where I was like, no. I don't know that I trust it.
No.
And so my thinking was to do exactly what you're saying, is I would just be in control of hitting launch and send those emails for 4 mornings. Mm-hmm. Now with the emails, can you put a video in those emails as well?
What you can do is you can put an image and you can hyperlink to the image. You can't put a video inside email. Okay. One, it makes the deliverability horrendous. Okay. So you can say, here's an image. It looks like it's a video, but when they click, it either plays on YouTube or it plays on a Kajabi page. So it's not playing in the email. It looks like it is, but it isn't. And for using pipelines, don't use them. They will be very, very frustrating. It is much easier to create a standalone page because you can clone a standalone page. So most of you will use a page for the opt-in, a thank you page letting them know they're confirmed, and then the cart open page. So you'll have 3 pages. More than likely, they're going to look very, very similar. If you use pipelines, you have to rebuild every single piece of that page all 3 times. It is a horrendous use of your time. Instead, you build one page, you put in all the colors, all the elements, all the stuff that you want, you adjust the copy, and you just clone it. So it's a much better use of time. You tend to not overlook a mistake. Just works much better. I don't build anything with pipelines.
Yeah,
No.
been there, done that.
No. I do not build any. I build, and all of anyone that I would say is a power Kajabi user, power builder, we all typically build with standalone pages because the call to action is what links them up. So it works really well. So
Do you have an example of that you've done so we can see how you walk through that?
Example of which piece?
What you cloned, what you said that you had your thank you page, your registration page, your thank you page, and your either cart open or offer page.
Yep. So what you do, and this is one of the very first things that whenever people come into PBK or really watch any of the video stuff, you'll hear me say, make a templated page. So if you go into website and then you click on your pages, you want to, again, shorten all the work because on every page, you got to change the favicon. On every page, you got to put in the fonts. On every page, you got to put in like the title and the page image and all that, like the background stuff, which while not difficult, is very time consuming.
Yes.
Because it's the same stuff over and over again. So what I recommend is, and we'll do it right from the beginning. So we would click on new page. And I also don't build websites with any of the themes. I build websites all with standalone pages. The exception being the blog. The blog has to be built with a site page. But everything else is a standalone page that you just link with the navigation menu. So here, let's say this is a good one for a challenge. So you want your opt-in page, and we will hit it. And I always put template in front of it. So template challenge. And so as you're looking through the templates, spend a little bit of time and say, okay, what is a page that minimizes the amount of front end work that I have? I like the aesthetics of it. I could swap in my images, swap in my fonts. It'll end up looking like mine, but it's not taking a ton of work because, no one has, I have really, myself included, I haven't not bought something because the page was ugly. Like it's not going to happen. But I have seen people spend a year building a page and not getting their business up and running. That's what we want to prevent against. So here, always, when you make anything new, always go to details first. Okay, so we're going to go to details. This is all the under the hood type things. I just want you guys to know that it's all here. When you're making a new page, you would change the title. You would change the URL. You would put it, if you don't want people to see it while you're building it, just put it into draft like that. I just linked in the pop-up group to the SEO stuff, but there is a Trello board that has how to do the Kajabi SEO stuff that you can access anytime. So this is all the SEO pieces. So we're just going to hit save. Go back to the page. And we will customize it. And we're going to go to settings because we want to put in our favicon. We want to choose our fonts. We want to get this page, the common elements set up so that this is, I can't tell you how many pages that I see, and they still all have the Kajabi favicon because they don't know, oh, I needed to go in and change this because they were making a page. So you want to go in, select your favicon. If you're using Canva to make your favicon, the image needs to be 64 by 64. Okay. For whatever reason, that gives you a clear favicon. The 32 by 32 does not. You would go through your style guide, change your color, whatever your primary color is. Here, you can obviously adjust your fonts, choose your fonts. If you have a crazy custom font that's not in the Google Fonts, I recommend using it like in an image like this is, and not, yes, you can import them, but it's a lot of work. I like to keep things easy. So I just say, if you're going to use a crazy, cool looking font, I put it in something that I can just bring in from Canva as an image where it's not, I'm not trying to make the headings all update to that font or the text update to that font.
Does Kajabi allow you to bring in a PNG?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I've had issues loading PNGs and I didn't know if it was just my image or.
No, you should, sometimes there's like the file size, but yeah, I do JPEGs and PNG all the time, depending on what I save the file as, and I don't have any issues. If I do use a transparent background image, I do have to bring in a fresh image each time I want to use that. So instead of being able to use recent file, the background will be black.
Right.
So you just have to say, select new file, pull it in from your downloads. So if it's a transparent background, I do have to upload a fresh. I can't use the one that got stored in Kajabi. Like that part doesn't work.
Okay.
But yeah, you'd go through, do your exit pop-up. If you're doing a two-step opt-in, you'd put that in here. So you customize this stuff as you're putting together your template. Then you can move to the sections. So on here, what I tell people, the easiest way to build is to build your sales page first. Because if you cannot build your sales page, you have no business dumping people into your funnel, because you're going to be running into, oh crap, my sales page isn't done. Oh crap, my sales page isn't done. What do I say? What do I say? So you build the sales page first. So let's say this page has just these few options, right? It's the opt-in. It's like, hey, whatever this, the recent stuff is. I would build out and add in all of, let's just put in we'll put in a pricing. Pricing option. So I would build out the sales page. What do I want to say? All the pieces, because if you can build your sales page, you know what you're going to say in emails to them. You know what you're going to say as part of the challenge. You know the pain points. Sales pages are difficult. If you can build it, you've done your work. Then you really can leverage it. And you don't run into, oh crap, my sales page isn't done. It's like, yes, the sales page is ready and here's the link and off you go. So build the longest page first, which is the sales page, has all the juicy information. So we're going to click save and we're going to say, okay, this is our sales page. So we're going to go back to landing pages, because all we're going to do is hide sections on the once we clone it. So here, I think this is the part that Elise wanted to see. So here, see my template challenge, I'm going to hit the 3 dots, which then should let me clone. Right here, just hit clone. I am asking a lot of Zoom right now, apparently. So I don't have to worry about the settings. I can just go into details. So I'll click on my details. And I will rename it. So I would say challenge opt-in. Now, since I haven't shared this URL anywhere, I can modify it right now. Okay, so don't modify this once you start like sharing it, because if you do, you will break the links and then you'll have 404 errors. So if we do it the first thing, then we can't run into that problem. So challenge name, whatever you're calling it. Here, Facebook or Google, anywhere that you're sharing it, or YouTube, it will all pull from this SEO information. So this is where you want to put the title of the challenge so that it doesn't say whatever the random thing that Kajabi might pull in. Put in your description, put in the image that you have for the challenge, fill out all of that, click save. Okay. Tanya has a question about image sizes. What we are building in is Encore. Encore has the ability to have desktop things displayed and to have mobile stuff displayed. So it works really well, especially if you're building a new sales page, to build it in Encore, because then if you do run into instances where the images aren't resizing correctly, which does happen in all the other themes that do not have mobile stuff, you won't run into that. I'll show you when we get into customizing this. So let's say what we had cloned was our big, long sales page. Now we just have an opt-in page. So all we need is the opt-in form. So we're going to hide the sections. So here, down here. Nope, move this. There we go. So just let me get my zoom out of the way. Go back. Okay, so right here where there's 3 dots, I'm just going to hit hide. So it's just going to make all these sections go away. So all I should see on my page now, okay, we're going to have one more to hide, text and image. We're going to hide this. So now this page is done. So the opt-in page, because we cloned and then hid the sections, now we just have, hey, opt in for the challenge. But let's say you're like, oh, you know what? I really want them to know like the different feature, like the different pieces of this challenge. So we'll change this instead of my recent trips. We'll say challenge topics. You guys will find out my copy on the fly is not my strongest asset. Or spelling. So here, okay, I want it to say this, and I want them to have like the 3 things, but the call to action is join. So Join, click save. Here, we would switch it if we were doing something like, yep, I want you to join now. We've already set up the opt-in on this page, which we would have done first. So now we just set it for the 2-step opt-in. We don't have to rebuild. We don't have to make sure that the page is going to the right spot. So this is where you can really start to build quickly and accurately in Kajabi. Let's see. Let me just stop share for a moment. See if you guys have questions. Hey, Tracy. Hey, Kelly. Oh, let's see. Kimberly's question is, so if we have Premiere, should we build new pages in Encore? Only if you have nothing else to do. If you have a current page in Premiere and it is working and you built it and you're really just getting ready to start sending traffic to it, there's no need to rebuild. I still have tons of pages that are in Premiere and I'm not rebuilding any of them. I have tons of clients. We didn't rebuild everything when Encore came out. And we've also made the decision, like moving forward, is it worth setting up an Encore, or is it worth keeping the consistency of the look in Premiere? So just because a new thing comes out doesn't necessarily mean quick jump ship and rebuild. In fact, in the Kajabi Gold group, so anybody that's made over $100,000, very few jumped ship when Encore came out. It's like, look, our pages are working, they're converting. When we go to rebuild a site, when we're building out something new, then we'll look at it and say, yeah, we want to take advantage of those features. So it's not, Premiere's not going away. None of the old pages are going away. They never do. They just don't put any new resources into beefing them up. But Encore does have the ability to have like long text sections that might be great on desktop, but on a mobile, you just don't want someone to have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. On mobile, you would just hide that section. So Encore is the only functional theme that does that. Let's see. And David says, can you briefly walk through the steps of setting up an offer and product? Yes, let me see how this goes, David. I may need to do another call just so I can walk it all through with you. But if I can get it in with this, I will absolutely try. Okay. So Elise, does that make sense on how you clone pages from a template?
Yes, that was very helpful.
Okay.
Excuse me, that was very helpful.
Perfect.
This is like the meat and potatoes that, when you're trying to coordinate it all in your brain, it's helpful to see that.
Yep. So now let's add a section because you guys are, this is an event. So let's put an event in here, which has the countdown. And when you're setting these up, there is a Trello checklist for anything you do, because everything I've done at least once. You want to make sure you've set up your event first. Oh, good. That one we need. Let's see here. You know what? We might have to set up a new one. Just a second. We'll set up, you guys need to see it anyhow. So we'll set up a new event. And we'll use Kelly's dates. Okay, new event. Because you really, in Kajabi, you build in the reverse, quite honestly, of what the experience is for the person. We have to build in reverse so that everything is there to link to. So it is, you kind of flip everything on its head and build it that way. So you put this in and let's see, the cart is closing on the 24th. We're going to make it. And the nice thing is you can clone these. So we don't want to set it to repeat, but when you want to use it again, it's easy enough to clone, change the dates, and everything is good. So here's our event, and our card is closing on the 24th at 1 o'clock. So in here, this is where I do really like using events. The first few times you run it, a blend of broadcasts with event emails. So we're going to say before the event, and we're going to say 1 hour, and we're going to say cart is closing in 1 hour. Just like that, and click save. So those really last minute things, like about the last 24 hours, those are good emails to put into the event action. You can also have, we'll put our add email, follow-up emails after the event. So, you know, I use this a lot for the virtual event. People that signed up, they get the reminders, but then it'll say, hey, the next month is coming up. If you'd like to register now, you totally can. So you can use at the time of registration, at the time of the event, before and after. So our event is set. We can go back to our pages. And the nice thing is with the event in there, you can put that in broadcasts, and you can have really pretty emails that go out with the event time, with the event countdown timers. So it's another plus of using broadcasts and not putting everything into the event emails, because currently you can't put the countdown timers into the Kajabi event emails using only Kajabi tools. I know you can do it with some third-party tools, but I try to stay away from them as much as possible. So here, now if we go into customize,
I have a question while that's loading up.
yeah.
On the side of your landing page, it shows like a lot of those little Facebook, Twitter, that kind of stuff. Do you not use the footer in Kajabi for all of that? Is that an outside?
For where?
So when you were on, before you hit customize, it showed this little thing right here on the side of the landing page that has like Facebook, the Twitter icon. So like if you go back to landing pages. And in the little preview, see there on the side, it has like Facebook, Twitter, icons. Is that something that's a third party, and why can you not use the footer in Kajabi?
Just a second.
You know what I'm talking about?
That is, yep. Yes, you totally can. Let me make sure. I think that is, it's either add this or share this, which if it's showing up right now, it has randomly decided to show up. Let's see if it's there. I don't know where that it is. we had this issue with it's not, what you're seeing isn't really there. You can use, just a second. Okay, so here's the page like live, and it's not there. There's a weird, there's a weird bug. But the share this or the add this code that puts like the Facebook and the Twitter and the Pinterest where people can click it to share it, you can take that code and put it on Kajabi pages and let it share out. There is a weird bug. I don't know what it is right now. It is showing up on historical pages. I don't know why in the world it's pulling into that preview, but it's not displaying on the pages. So
yeah. You can use the Kajabi footer.
Absolutely.
What I've been using because it's just cleaner looking.
Yep, absolutely. And I will say these days, unless you have a really unique audience, most people just don't share pages anymore. Like it's not not like it was, 10 years ago when I was starting in an online business. We use those buttons all the time. Now they just really kind of get ignored. So that's so weird that it's pulling in though. Good catch. But it's a third party, it's a free tool, and it's either share this or add this. Both of them do the same thing. So here, invite to event. And we will save it. Come here. Okay, then we're going to select this. Put our challenge in here. The other really fun, good thing is after the event. So if someone were to land on this page after, and for instance, you have a wait list or you have something you want them to go do because the cart has closed, you can then set what do you want to happen after the event. So it really does provide a great user experience, and it helps us not forget, oh crap, I forgot to go redirect this or send that somewhere else or shut it down or do whatever you're doing. You can just set that, up here. You can also have it remove itself. So when it's gone, have it go away. Lots of different things you can do. That's why you map out your North Pole to New York City. But that is really how I would do the pages in terms of set up my sales page, clone it, and then take away the sections so that the opt-in page makes sense. The thank you page makes sense. They all look the same. I don't have to rewrite the copy. I don't have to copy and paste copy from anywhere. I'm just hiding those sections because you'll always find things like, oh, I actually want that section on this page. Just go click show. Like it just puts it right back up on the page. It makes your work so much less, like so much less. Okay. All right. Questions?
So he had brought up the question about an offer. Mm-hmm. If you're running a special offer due to the challenge, do you have to create a whole new offer specifically for this challenge, or do you just go and edit like a coupon that's for this challenge? Like what would make the easiest sense? Because then you don't have like 12 of the same offer.
Mm-hmm.
Am I asking that in the right way?
Yep, you sure? That's where we were. Perfect segue. So you want to run a special price in your, while the cart is open. You can do this. We'll put it down here. Mm-hmm. So can you guys see the whiteboard? Mm-hmm. Okay. So special price. You can do it either with an offer or you can do it with a coupon code. Either way is fine, whichever one you're doing. So if I'm going to do a coupon code, then obviously the email broadcasts that I send out, I need to add the coupon. I would recommend, well, there's two different ways to think about the coupon. There's lots of psychology behind it. When you're doing a discounted price, and I'll show you this in Kajabi, we can either send them the link where Kajabi applies the coupon automatically, so they'll see a strike through and then the new price, or if for your audience, they feel better, like they're getting a good, better feeling from the lower price by entering the coupon code, then you send them the link to the normal offer. They input the coupon code, they hit apply, and they get whatever warm and fuzzy feeling that is. So you can do it either way. You can do either add the coupon link or add the coupon code to the offer. So if we, just a second, we gotta go jump back to Kajabi. And again, there's not a right or wrong answer. It is just two different experiences. And you can, again, it's helping create the experience that you want with your business. You know your audience the best. And I have found from a customer service standpoint, it is much easier to just send them the coupon link because it eliminates all of the, what's the code? I didn't put the code in right. It's not working for me. So for me, I choose the link so that customer service wise, it is, you eliminate that problem. Okay, so let's get into offers. And if you have your product done, you can put it in there. You can always change this. So I can make it an offer with no product. I don't even need to put a price in on the front screen. I tend to do all that editing on this page. So you'd go in, edit all the portions of your offer, put that all together. Let's see, we got to make it a price. So make it a one-time payment. Make it 300. Now, I tend to just go to the assistant when I want to do coupons. I just type in the word coupon and then I would click new coupon. Here, you can do whatever you would like. So if we say 25 off and we make it either a percent or an amount, either one works. So we'll make it 25% off. They can use it once. If it's only good while the cart is open, what did we say it was? Yeah, April 24th. Then we'll make it expire. Once you make the coupon, the nice thing is it will tell you if you already made the coupon, so you don't have to worry about accidentally making it. Then here you click add offer and we would select our offer. So 5, what do I call it? There we are. And this is what I mean by the discount link. So if I copy this discount link and then I go to a new window, let's see if Zoom follows me along. Did Zoom follow me? Can you guys see the new Kajabi page?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kajabi does the math for me. That's what I'm talking about. So I now, after a couple years between codes and links, I have ended up using links simply because of customer service.
Yeah.
Typically, these are going to be people that are just getting to know your business, especially coming off of a challenge. So they're not, savvy Kajabi offer checkout people. And so it has just, that's been my observation. But you can do it the same way. If we go back, what did we end up with the code? 25 off 5-day. So if I go back to the offers page, if you want to send them the code and let them enter it, again, the psychology behind that is absolutely valid. I go in here and I get the link for that page. Oh yeah, copy. Ooh. There we go. Okay, go away. So now I get to do the math. Okay, so now it says 300. Can you guys see that page? Versus this is the discount link page. Kajabi does the math. Here, I have to put this in. So 25 off 5-day, click apply. Now the pages will look the same. Questions on that?
Where do you put in the text for what you'll get? Is that just in the description section of the offer?
Yep, you want to go into,
It's shopping cart.
yep, you want to go into edit the shopping cart. And we will do a whole, tomorrow, I'll actually swap out what I was going to do and I'll do a whole thing on offers and products. Would that work for you, David? Then we can go through each piece.
Yes.
It's right here. It's right here under offer details. So I can either click on the right-hand side and Kajabi will jump me to where it is. So if you're like, oh, how do I edit this?
Oh, okay, right.
All you have to do is click and it will open it up on the left-hand side right here.
Got it.
And then you can go in and put in whatever you want to for the offer.
Okay, great. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. Now I'll go back over to our whiteboard. There we go. So your coupon link or your coupon, you're putting it into the emails that you're sending out here. And from when people sign up, so here's our timeline. We're at the, March 31st here. So whenever you open up the opt-in page, as soon as people can start opting in here, this is where you would use, let me get rid of a little bit of space here. So this form, you would want to add the automation to it to register to the event so that when they submit this form, they're registered for the Kajabi event. So whatever event emails you're sending, those will get sent. And in the meantime, when you are between, here and the challenge starting, like people are opting in, if you want to communicate with them and be like, hey, this is what we're doing today, or this is what we're doing tomorrow, whatever that is, you can still use the email broadcasts and maintain the control of what you're doing. But then once you've run it a few times, then more and more gets put into the event. And more of it is automated each time that you do it. You just don't want to do that the first time through, because you end up building, you spend all this time building automations and setting things up, but it's something you've never done before. So automations are fantastic, but they will scale a mess just like they will scale success. If you haven't done it, you don't know if it's a mess or a success. So you go, okay, how can I use the best of both worlds? I know when my cart's closing. I know what an hour before that is. I know what 2 hours before that is. But in this 2-3 week time when I'm trying to figure things out, you don't want to be fighting automations, because it just sends the stress through the roof, and you're just spending all this time and energy and money battling it. So that's why I keep one foot in each camp.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna stop live streaming, and I can stay on a few more minutes.